Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back for the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back into the 11th anniversary treasure map against York and Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji with some booster teams, some different comps. If you guys are missing, say, one of the legends, if you're missing, say, two of the legends, in today's video, we're going to break it down and hopefully give you guys some different options to maximize your points with some of the newer 11th anniversary legends. So the Intrusion is an absolute doozy, and it's going to be a bit of a tricky one. You do want to try and get to 20 million points for this particular treasure map. I would highly recommend farming the New World. Even if you're struggling with the Intrusion, hitting 20 million points with some of these newer characters and just skipping the Intrusion is still very, very doable. 20 million points is not a lot of points when you have some of these higher point boosted characters. So I would highly recommend that most players, if you guys summoned and you can build out teams to take down the New Worlds, like I said, in the mini bosses, they don't matter. Like, just bring whatever works for your account. Doesn't have to be point boosted characters or anything like that. We're blessed with the 11th anniversary ship. We're blessed with the cooldowns for everyone being 5 turns. So everyone getting 10 turns of cooldowns is going to help out a lot of players. So if you can go to New World, I would highly recommend doing so. But today we are focusing on we're going to start off with the final boss fight, which is against Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. The recommended characters obviously are Kizaru, Nami, and the new Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. The upside to this fight is that they don't need you to bring the new Brook or the new 6+ Zoro. Those particular characters are recommended for the Intrusion fight, so if you missed out on them and you can still build a very good final boss team, like I said, hitting 20 million points shouldn't be that challenging at all. Everyone gets the good stuff on turn 2. There's 5 turns of special reverse on the middle row. You get lock specials on the middle row as well. Damage reduction and top row gets just spared. On battle 3, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji weak to slashes. There's special bind. There's burn. Full immunity, normal attacks only, a territory, and some paralysis as well. So the full batch team looks a little bit like this. This is going to net you the most amount of points. The only booster that is higher than Monet is the 6+ Zoro. However, getting your hands on the 6+ Zoro is nice and all, but if you have Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, then you obviously can't bring another Zoro character. You can run the York free play character if you want to, but Monet is actually really, really good for stage 2 to bypass the Despair. It is 10 turns of Despair, I believe. So just utilizing her there to remove 6 of them. And then with the Whitey base support, it increases it to 8. With your sockets, you can get around the rest. To get around the damage reduction, you have the Nami character. She's going to have her stage 1 special live because the 5 turns of cooldown actually doesn't really affect her that much, seeing as the fact that her stage 1 special still removes the 6 turns of damage reduction. So she'll get rolled back by 5 turns, go down to 11, still be able to use that stage 1 special, and then you can just use Kizaru to build her back up. Now, if you guys don't have your own Kizaru, I would highly recommend bringing out friend captain Kizaru. As you can see, I'm running double Kizaru for this particular fight. Just going to be very, very easy to find a second Kizaru friend captain that way. Nami takes care of the damage reduction. The final stage, the captains of your Kizaru units are going to take care of the special bind and the burn. You do just need to make sure that you have 3 Egghead, Logia, or Navy characters, which obviously is very easy to do. The Luffy, Zoro, Sanji is going to remove the paralysis and then also apply a territory to override that. Brook is literally here as a 1.75 booster. If you guys don't have the Brook, very simply just throw on York. She's the next best high or the highest booster. So you technically don't really need Brook for this particular team to function. But if you do have Brook, like why not use him? Throw him on there. He's another 1.75 booster and it's going to make life very, very easy. As for recommended character replacements, the Monet is free to play. Everyone should have the Monet. And if you don't have the Monet, you just want to replace her with another high point boosted Despair remover. So, I'll quickly touch on this. I wasn't going to because obviously, like, free-to-play character. But the next best option would probably be the free-to-play Robin. You have the 5+ Kobe. You can definitely use that character too. And then you just need to use some supports to get around the rest of the... To get around the rest of the Despair. If you guys are missing Nami, as I mentioned, Nami's here to remove the damage reduction. So the next best thing is the Vivi Rebecca for 6+. So if you have Vivi Rebecca, you can throw Vivi Rebecca on this particular team. You are still going to take the 5 turns of cooldown, but then you can just use one of the Kizaru specials to actually get the cooldown back on your middle row, and that way you can remove the damage reduction that way. Now, York can remove damage reduction as well. Problem with York is she only removes 2 turns of damage reduction, so a little bit of an issue there. You still need to sort of make up the extra 2 turns of damage reduction. I know a lot of people like to skip 6+ characters, and Vivi Rebecca 6+ is probably one of them. So you'd be set on a 1.35 booster here. But the next sort of stand-in would be something like Nami Karina. You could throw on Treasure Map Frankie. That's definitely another option as well. Hell, you could throw on Atlas if you really want to too. But like Nami obviously is the character they want you to use there. As for Kizaru replacements, if you guys don't have your own Kizaru, just bring a friend captain Kizaru. And then you could run something like Luffy, Zoro, Sanji as captain. Hell, you could even run Nami as captain if you guys are missing Kizaru. Like, running 2 Kizarus here is not essential. You could literally just run 1 Kizaru if you really want to, provided that you have the Egghead, Navy, or Logia units to take care of the Special Bind and the Burn. But, like, Monet is a Logia type. York is a Egghead unit, and then if you bring Kizaru, you have the 3 just built in already. So very, very easy to do, even if you guys don't have any of these other characters. So Kizaru, he's definitely not essential, but he is going to be the best leader for this particular run, because like I said, you really want to try and bring a friend captain Kizaru. Hell, if you really want to, you can run your own Kizaru captain and then bring a friend captain Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. That's going to work as well, especially if you guys are missing Luffy, Zoro, Sanji and you don't actually have this particular character. You can just bring your Luffy, Zoro, Sanji friend captain, and then you're just covered for literally everything that you need to worry about. So that's another really, really good option if you guys are missing that particular character as well. So if you guys are missing, let's say for example we're missing Nami, you can just replace with Vivi Rebecca. And say we're missing Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, you could then replace, say, with this Zoro. If you have this Zoro, you got lucky there. Maybe you pulled the Brook and you got lucky there. You could just throw that on. And then bring, obviously, a friend captain, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji there. If you guys missed out on Kizaru, obviously you just do something like this. And then you just bring any other point booster here that is going to give you the maximum amount of points. Say, for example, you do have Nami. You could easily throw Nami on here and still bring Vivi Rebecca, because Vivi Rebecca is a 1.35 booster. Not that it matters all that much. You could definitely throw on Brook if you got lucky with Brook. Fortunately, you can't use Zoro, but you can use any of the 1.35 boosters here too. So you could easily throw on something like the rare recruits. Sorry, the new Alba if you pull the new Alba. You have the new Mihawk if you pull the new Mihawk. I think the new Mihawk's boosted, is he? Why isn't he coming up? Oh no, there he is. You have the new Mr. 3 as well. You also have like the rare recruit Usopp that you could throw on the team. You could throw literally any of these 1.35 boosters will work absolutely fine, because you have Nami, you have Vivi Rebecca taking the realm in that regard. So that's the breakdown there if you guys are missing particular characters. But again, this is what the full booster team is going to look like, covering you for literally everything. Straight swap in for Nami is Vivi Rebecca, or if you guys need something like Nami Karina, that's going to work too. Treasure Map Frankie, as I said, or Atlas even can definitely work. Brook, definitely substitute in something like the York free-to-play character. And then again, these 2 characters here are interchangeable, so if you did pull one or the other, then you are good to go. If you didn't pull either of these characters, so say for example you only pulled Nami, you definitely want to bring a friend captain Kizaru. Kizaru is definitely going to be the friend captain that you need to bring, and then you're going to need someone to remove, say we bring Vivi Rebecca just for like some extra point boosting shenanigans, and then you just want to bring someone else for the paralysis on the final stage. So you could just bring like the rare recruit Kuma if you have the rare recruit Kuma. You could bring Crocodile if you wanted to bring Crocodile. You want to try and obviously stay in the realm of like boosted units, so like a Dex Slasher or a Dex Striker base unit. That's going to be the best option for you guys. But like, you're doing a lot of damage with these like recommended characters anyway, that you should be hitting fairly hard. So like I said, if you miss out on some characters, don't stress. It should still be easy to fill in the gaps. As for the Intrusion though, the Intrusion gets very challenging. And like I said, if you are really, really, really struggling with the Intrusion, just skip it. Like, you don't have to do the Intrusion. It's crazy. The bird pops up, you say no. Like, sure, you're going to lose points every run, but you're still going to hit the 20 million. And that's what you want to hit. Like, sure, people are going to say, but I could go Grand Line or I could rank top 10. Yeah, sick. Do that. Go for it. But then you miss out on one of the greatest rewards in a gold super boost tandem tablet, which is so rare. On top of the fact that all of the drops on the map and the mini-boss fights are boosted for the New World. So I would highly recommend taking on the New World. As you can see, Kizaru, Nami, 6+ Zoro, and Brook are the recommended characters. As for stage 2, or battle 1, sorry, everyone gets the good stuff. And on stage 2, you fight a whole bunch of Seraphim units alongside York. You get an attack down if you're below a 3.75 chain. Crewmates get stunned, full immunity, normal attacks only, threshold, defense up, territory for 5 turns, and then York runs away. Comes back on battle 3 against S-Hawk, S-Snake, and is weak to slashes. She gives you block obs, bomb obs, full immunity, normal attacks only, damage reduction, rainbow slots for 2 turns, 2 rainbow slots for 3 turns, which is 3 turns of barrier, by the way. 3-turn target lock, and then 6 turns of resilience. So the recommended team they want you to use looks a little bit like this. We will want to bring either a Luffy, Zoro, Sanji as a friend captain, or bring another Zoro, so that way we can take care of all of the damage reduction needs. Obviously, running double Zoro is going to be super easy to do and probably the way to go. If you guys are missing Zoro, but you have Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, obviously you just bring Luffy, Zoro, Sanji there, and then just bring a friend captain, Zoro. So that's really not the challenging part for this particular build. The real struggle is the Brook replacement. Lots of people are going to be asking for Brook replacements because he does 2 things that is very vital to this particular run. He gives you rainbow orbs to break through the barrier, and he removes the resilience by 6 turns, which is going to be very annoying because there is target lock, which means that if the target lock is on the character that has resilience, you have to remove the resilience. And if the resilience is on all 3 characters, you're then going to be stuck having to just attack for 6 more turns after that. So it's going to be very, very annoying to deal with. But you do have some options that we will talk about with this particular run if you guys are missing Brook. So on stage 2, very simply, they want you to use Kizaru. Now, if you don't have Kizaru and you don't have Zoro, you're going to be in for a very, very rough time. I'm sorry to say that, but you're going to be in for a really, really rough time. You just want to basically, at that point, bring what's it called? You want to bring Zoro as a friend captain, and then you probably want to use something like Zoro and Kaku just to get through this particular stage with the territory. It's very, very nasty stuff. So there is damage reduction and defense up and stun. So this is where we want to use the Zoro special on turn 2. Zoro's going to cut his HP, and that's going to remove the stun. It is a 10 times damage stun, so if you get hit there, you're probably going to die. So using his special is going to cut your HP, and it also removes the defense up and the threshold. I believe his stage 2 is damage reduction though. Yeah, so his stage 2 is going to remove the threshold, and then we have Nami to remove the defense up. But if you don't have Nami, again, just a really good straight swap for Nami is Vivi Rebecca. You're also removing defense up there, which is going to work out fairly nicely. But you could also use Nami and Karina. That's a very, very good option as well. Problem with this fight on stage 2 is the attack down below a certain chain multiplier and the territory. That's where Kizaru comes into play. Kizaru can obviously give you a very good chain boundary, and he overrides the territory, which is going to be a very, very annoying factor for a lot of players. To get past this, if you don't have Kizaru, you basically have to bring someone that is going to remove the that's going to give you a very good chain. What am I looking for here? A very good chain boost. Now the territory you can kind of get around. You don't have to worry about the territory all that much, but you will have to bypass the what's it called? You'll have to bypass that that attack down below a certain chain. So if you guys, again, if you're missing, say, the new Zoro, then you can use Zoro Kaku. But I feel like if you're missing the new Zoro and you have Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, you're probably going to want to bring Luffy, Zoro, Sanji there, and then replace Kizaru with another chain boundary unit. And the first one that I can see that kind of comes to mind is Crocodile, or you could run something like Luchi Kaku if you have them, or you could use something like Blackbeard or Jinbei. This Sanji, we'll touch on this Sanji in a second. If you're obviously running Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, you're not going to be able to use this guy. So Crocodile is probably going to be the one that I would recommend using the most, because once you cut your HP, he's also driven, so like he does get buffed under Zoro. Once you cut your HP and you get below 50% HP with Crocodile, you get a 3-turn chain boundary, which is going to be very, very valuable. So you might be able to do something like this, for example. Obviously, like if you're missing Brook, like Brook's going to be a bit of an issue. But if you are missing both the Brook and the what's his name, and the Zoro, the Kizaru. No, if you're missing both the Kizaru and the Zoro, you could probably do something like this. But then that leads us into the final stage, which is the tricky one, which has the resilience as well as the rainbow orb barrier. Now, there's a very simple solution for the rainbow orb barrier if you guys have the luxury of the character, and that is the support rare recruit Shiroshi. One of the best supports in the game, gives you 3 rainbow slots off rip goes to your block orbs, and it goes on a Luffy character. So you could easily just do something like this, and then you can bypass that barrier effect. To bypass the resilience, you can do something like the Enel support, like I showed you guys in my other video, which will just basically do end of turn damage on the end of the turn, which will just basically go through the resilience. The problem with this is that we don't really have another way of what's it called? What am I trying to say? We don't really have another way of removing all the resilience if the resilience is on all 3 characters, and then the target lock is on that middle character. To bypass the damage reduction is pretty simple. We have the Nami second special, and then we have the York special. York can remove 4 turns of damage reduction with her double special activation, and then Nami can remove another 6. Getting Nami's second special back isn't too challenging too, because you can get the 2 turns of cooldown in her stage 2, and then her EX will give you another 2 as well. So don't stress about that if you guys are struggling there. But if you guys are missing Shirahoshi and you can't get past the barrier, you are going to have to do something like a barrier removal. Problem with Zoro, Luffy, Sanji is there are really only 2 other barrier removers, which is Nami Karina, which obviously you can't use because if you have Nami on the team, you are going to be stuck there. Very, very annoying stuff. However, if you guys don't have this particular Nami, for example, and you guys are utilizing Vivi Rebecca to say remove that damage reduction, and then you are using something like Nami Karina here, Nami Karina can actually not only remove the barriers by 2 turns, but can also remove the resilience by 6 turns too, which is very, very handy to have. The problem with this particular comp is that you're still stuck, and you're also getting the damage reduction with Nami as well. Like the Nami variation of Nami Karina just works so damn well. The problem we have here is that you are still left with 1 turn of barrier, which is very, very annoying. Like very, very annoying. So you kind of have to do something different. You might have to replace Luffy Zoro Sanji with the Onsen Luffy or something like that. But again, if you guys have the Legend Nami and then you're not using Nami Karina anyway, then you are going to be a little bit stuck. But you do have one particular character option that can get you through, which is the Treasure Map Legend Stussy. Treasure Map Legend Stussy removes 5 turns of barriers, so that's going to work out really nicely. But again, that Shirahoshi support recruit, it's going to be the best way to break this, because I have a feeling that target lock with the resilience is going to cause a huge problem for a lot of people. And again, that's why if you just have this Brook, it's going to be just easy peasy mode. Maybe you got lucky, you pulled the Brook and not the Zoro, and then you could easily just do something like this. Again, if you have Kizaru is just going to be a great option to kind of throw in here, and then you can just bypass it that way. But if you guys can't bypass the barriers and you can't bypass the resilience, then what you're going to need to do is just bring someone that can actually bypass resilience. Now, unfortunately, the resilience removers, they're not exactly plentiful. You have one other really good resilience remover, which is the Alba Legend, which I do understand a lot of people aren't going to have. So I would say use him, but at the same time, like Treasure Map Stussy, a lot of people aren't going to have Treasure Map Stussy either. And at that point, you still have to use the Shirahoshi support on Luffy to bypass the Rainbow Orb barrier. But you can also use the free-to-play Brook. He's going to remove 5 turns of thresholds, and then with his double special activation, he can remove another 5 turns. And this particular setup is probably going to be something that a lot of people look to bypass this particular stage. There is one more caveat that you guys can do. Now, it says here that there is a Rainbow Orb barrier. Problem is that you are taking on a strength unit. What you can do is rely on Barrier Pen with Kizaru to try and just take down this particular stage. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be very, very tricky. You're going to have a lot of buffs, and it will work for the early stages, but if you guys do have Kizaru, then you basically can just rely on his barrier penetration if you have it maxed out, to just ignore the barrier and just do as much damage as you possibly can, and then just try and avoid something like the EX of Luffy Zoro Sanji, so that way you don't have that color affinity buff. But again, like, doing something like this, it's really not going to carry you for all that long. It's going to make things a little bit challenging to bypass all of the stages. And what you might need to do if you are running something like this is replace Nami with Nami Karina, because like Nami Karina in the Nami variation on the final stage is very, very good, because you can bypass literally, like, you bypass so much with Nami. Like, you get 6 turns of damage reduction removal, you get the resilience removal, you get 2 turns of barrier removal, and then you just have to bring someone else that can remove the defense up on stage 2, which we have the luxury of being blessed with something like VV Rebecca. So VV Rebecca can actually do that, and you're just basically removing the defense up there. But then you still have the 4 turns of damage reduction on the final stage and that 1 extra turn of barrier. So you're probably going to have to look at replacing something like York here to go with some damage reduction removal. And at this particular point, not only do you have to find someone that can bypass damage reduction, but you also need someone that can bypass barriers. And unfortunately, the boosted list doesn't satisfy that particular need. So it's going to be very, very tricky. If you have a look at barrier removals as well, like, you have the free-to-play Sanji, but if you're using Luffy Zoro Sanji, that's going to be a bit of a problem, so you can't actually do that. You do only need to remove 1 more turn of barriers, though, so if you can find something like a quick striker slasher that can also remove damage reduction, you have the, what's it called? You have the Cat Viper and Dogstorm support that can work very nicely. Let's see if we can find a barrier removing support. Yeah, like, you don't have many options, man. Like, you don't have many options at all. Like, it's just absolute carnage for this particular fight. So it's a bit of a shame. Like, if we just kind of go through the options here, like, no one has that support, like, at all. No one has anything that's working for, like, you do have Stussy. I mean, if you have Stussy, you could just, like, throw the Stussy support on what's it called? Like, if you could do that, like, that's actually really, really good to keep up your 1.4 times multiplier, and that way you're getting around pretty much everything. But again, it relies you to have the Treasure Map Legend Stussy, which is, again, a massive, massive problem. Like, a massive problemo. But, hey, like, beggars can't be choosers, right? And choosers never get what they want. So let me know what you guys are going to be running for the Intrusion and the final boss fight. Hopefully this video did help you guys out in some way. And unfortunately, I won't be able to test every single variation, but let me know in the comment section below which variation you guys are using and if this video did help you. Leave a comment down below so other people can check it out and other people can run similar or the same things. But that's gonna wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.